Match week 12 brings us to the windy city of Chicago. The month of June opens with an all-Midwest matchup between Columbus Crew 2 and Chicago Fire 2. Welcome inside SeatGeek Stadium along with our Season Pass crew. I'm Jake Griffith. A pleasure to have you alongside us. Chicago Fire, they have really started to figure things out down the stretch of this first portion of the season. And in the process, they've been one of the best goal-scoring teams in the league, averaging just shy of 2 goals per match. They've been exceptional at home in terms of goals scored. 9 total goals for at SeatGeek Stadium this season. That poses a challenge for a Columbus Crew team who have been handcuffed offensively all season long. Just 2 goals scored away in their last 270 minutes away from historic Crew Stadium. Overall this year, they've scored the 4th fewest goals in MLS NEXT Pro. A big reason why? They haven't created enough chances. 2nd fewest shots on target generated of any MLS NEXT Pro team. The starting 11 now, first for Chicago and head coach Mike Matkovich. It's a 4-3-3 formation, 3 changes across this 11. With offense in mind, Chicago Fire will be down a significant goal-scoring threat today. No Dylan Borso, who scored a goal against NYC FC2 in that 2-2 draw. Instead, the emphasis shifts to Jason Shukaluk, the former Akron Zip, who has 4 goal contributions on the season. Shukaluk making his 5th start of the season out wide on the right in that 3-striker approach for first-year head coach Mike Matkovich. Shukaluk, the former Big East Player of the Year, can score goals in a hurry. For Columbus Crew 2 and head coach Federico Higuain, it's a 3-5-2. 1 change at the back for this Columbus Crew side. No Chris Rogers. Instead, Dylan Randazzo will get just his 2nd ever career start. The youngster, the Columbus Crew Academy product, 7 appearances now in his young career, being asked to anchor the outside of that 5-3-2 for Columbus Crew 2 and hold down the back line against a Chicago Fire team who love to use that direct style of play, those long balls forward to try to break those lines down. Chicago coming off that 2-2 draw against NYC FC. It was a second-half comeback for Chicago Fire 2. Conceded the opening goal early, then tacked on 2 second-half goals, one in the 82nd minute, one in the 90th minute, the second latest goal Chicago have scored this season. Could not hold on, allowed a stoppage time goal to Seymour Reed, ultimately sharing the points in regulation and going to their first ever shootout this season. Ended up dropping that shootout 4-2 against NYCFC. Mike Matkovich called May their best month for Chicago Fire. Felt like travel was a big factor. They got to play a significant stretch of games at home. Wants to see them start a little bit faster, though, in this contest. Nicholas Strednak is our center referee. He sounds the whistle, and we are underway on this Sunday afternoon in the second city between Chicago Fire and Columbus Crew 2. Quickly on it now is Nico Rincon, trying to shake free of the defensive pressure applied by Chase Gasper, the Chicago Fire first-teamer, former Minnesota United FC man. That's guided out across the end line. An early corner won by Columbus Crew 2 in the yellow, Chicago Fire in the red. 1 corner goal for this year. Rincon curls this in, but a whistle will wash it out. Fire 2 have been exceptional at defending set pieces, something that Mike Matkovich lauded them for earlier this week. Felt like they've been very aggressive in terms of set piece defense. They've only conceded 1 corner goal. That came against FC Cincinnati 2 earlier this season. Guided back to Patrick Los, who struggles with the control, getting his 10th start of the season. Gasper nods that one down. Trying to break Chicago free of the defensive end. Instead, that finds the boundary line, and it will be a throw-in for Columbus Crew 2. Trying to test Chicago early on counterattacks. As this long throw in toward the 18. Diouf, no choice but to head that out. 2 corners won by Columbus Crew 2 in the opening 2 minutes. Rincon will trot over to trigger this in. Wind is a bit of a factor. You can see that corner flag flapping significantly. Rincon curls this into the thick of it. That's headed out of play. Consecutive corners won now by Columbus Crew. Plenty of traffic right in front of Patrick Lose, catching the head of the Chicago defender and finding its way out as Rincon will pull the strings on this set piece again. Rincon, line drive, promptly headed away by Chicago. A bright start for Columbus Crew 2 in terms of chance generation. 3 set pieces already for a Columbus Crew side who entered this contest with the fewest corners won in MLS NEXT Pro this season. An aggressive approach early on for Federico Higuain's team. Long ball lifted forward. It caroms to Rincon. Calm under the pressure applied. Now Columbus will try their hand down this near channel. It's Quentin Elliott. What a find outside, trying to whip it back in. On it now is Columbus, countering. Alloway. Crew 2 off that loss against Red Bull New York 1-0, conceded an early goal as that steered out of play. A throw conceded to Columbus. Federico Higuain said, though, he was pleased with how his team responded well against a strong opponent. Felt like they competed exceptionally hard for nearly the entire game. His biggest takeaway, they're starting to find their style that he wants them to play, as Diouf will nudge that to the byline. It does go out for the 4th corner already for Columbus Crew 2. Higuain said his team needed to come out today, be strong and attacking minded. They've done that. Aggressive profile for the team in yellow with 4 corners in the first 5 minutes. Roca, second ball headed back in. Now defender goes to ground. Gasper wanted a foul. Instead, it will be a throw-in for Chicago. Shook a look, tries to turn this upfield. Not on the same page as Holyout out wide. An offensively sluggish start for Chicago Fire. Trying to find their way across that midfield stripe for the first time. Meanwhile, Columbus Crew doing a solid job in terms of defensive organization. Now Diouf coughs it up. On the move is Columbus. Rolled back through, blocked on the way. A brilliant ball laid off to the flashing end, Cole Roca. A defender in his way, blocks it out. It's a throw for Columbus. Gasper tries to hack that away for a clearance. It has been all Columbus Crew 2 to start this fixture. Now on it is Columbus. Adu Jamfi tries to square. It's blocked out. Fifth corner won by Columbus. Mocha going down there on that boundary line. The foot of Gasper just catching the back of the head. Meanwhile, Brent Adu Jamfi able to win another set piece for Columbus. Rincon. That's twice now they've tried to play it to that near post, and twice coded well defensively by Chicago. Rincon taken down, was pleading his case for a foul, won't get it. Instead, it's a throw-in given to Chicago Fire 2. Chicago just trying to settle in on possession. And that has been a struggle so far for Mike Matkovich's bunch. Now turning this upfield is Chase Nagel. Good recovery defensively by this young Columbus Crew 2 side, one of the youngest in MLS Next Pro. Oldest player in this starting 11 this afternoon, Quentin Elliott, the 21-year-old, joined this Columbus Crew side from Indiana collegiately. Outside of that, it's teenagers, 17, 18, 16 even, all across this Columbus Crew roster. Federico Higuain, as there's some issues with distribution here at the back. Federico Higuain, he acknowledged earlier this season that when you have such a young team, as that Sale's out of play, you are going to have struggles throughout the year. But Columbus has started to figure things out. 7 total points earned, 2 wins in their last 5 matches. That on the heels of a winless 0-4-0 start. Reynolds steps up, wins it back in the midfield. Now Hulyut trying to knife around Columbus Crew players. Hulyut taken down. This will be a free kick awarded. And now more, as a card comes out of the pocket of Nicholas Strednak. Ibra Sai, in his 8th appearance of the year, shown yellow early, less than 10 in. Keep an eye on the center of your screen. It's Sai, 33 in yellow, taking Hulyut down. And for that right there at the end, a little bit of gamesmanship. Ibra Sai shown yellow. One free kick goal for this season for Columbus Crew, or I should say Chicago Fire 2 rather, as Claudio Cassano stands over top of it. 4 goal contributions this season for the Italian. Cassano sails this in. Shukaluk heads it toward goal, and it's over the bar. It took 10 minutes, but Chicago Fire 2 have found their first offensive opportunity. Right idea, the finish just not there for Shukaluk, who is bearing the brunt of the offensive responsibility up front. Pressure applied via that high press from Chicago. That defensive organization, defensive execution is an area that Mike Matkovich has talked so much about in terms of the growth of his Chicago Fire 2 side. As Koenig's under duress. Los emergency clearance away. Matkovich did say that it's not just the defensive organization. Their organization has been better these last few weeks on all sides of the equation. A big reason why they're getting consistency in terms of the personnel available, as that's cleared out for a throw. Matkovic, in his first season at the direction of this Chicago Fire 2 club, did say that at the MLS Next Pro level, it is tough to consistently be organized defensively and be organized overall as a unit, just because of the amount of players in and out of the lineup, a lack of continuity. Palacios trying to go forward with it, intercepted at the midfield stripe. Nagel, no options going forward. And Chicago instead will build things out from the back. Diouf, give and go to the outside. Defender goes to ground. A well-timed challenge on that outside spot from Anthony Alloway. A throw-in earned by Chicago Fire. Just able to tightrope that touchline, but Reynolds gives it right back up. Countering again is Columbus Crew 2. They've had a penchant this season for scoring counter goals. Going back a few matches to that surprising win against Chattanooga FC, who currently lead the Eastern Conference table. All three of Crew 2's goals coming on the counter in that match. Worked up ahead, but headed back on by Gasper. Cassano played into an empty space. No one there for Chicago. And Stanislav Lapkus, making his 6th start of the season, will control the possession for Columbus. This portion of the match is brought to you by Carvana. Quick throw in for Chicago, given back up to Gasper. Konix under pressure at the back again by Columbus, and they force a turnover. Change of possession will occur via the throw-in. That aggressive, high-pressing, counter-attacking mentality on display in these first 15 minutes from Columbus Crew 2. Very few offensive opportunities going forward right now for Chicago Fire, primarily because they've been pinned back in their own defensive end of things for so long in this first half to this juncture. Worked up that far touchline, Holyout. Now Fleming. Long ball over the top. It's Reynolds. Reynolds works it on. It's Shukaluk. Shukaluk looking for the cross. Elliott has to head that out, and Chicago Fire 2 earn their first corner. Breaking lines, using those long passes, part of the game model for Chicago Fire 2, and they use it expertly there to turn the field. Cassano will trigger this in. Cassano headed, back post, bouncing around, it's in! Against the grain, against the momentum, Chicago Fire 2 have pulled themselves in front. It's Diego Konix, 1-0 Chicago. What a well-placed ball by Claudio Cassano. The second header helping it along from Trip Fleming. And on the doorstep, unmarked, the captain, coming through again, his first of 2025. Just the second time in the last 8 matches that Chicago Fire 2 have gone out in front first, and they do so thanks to Diego Konix. Rolled up ahead, looking for Anu Jamfi. Lowe's clearance, intercepted, countering again is Columbus Crew 2. It's Ibra Sai. Reynolds able to muscle the man off the ball, quick throw in. Defender went to ground, couldn't win it back, that was Alloway. And Reynolds will have another throw in for Chicago Fire 2, making his 5th start of the season is Justin Reynolds, the Illinois native. Another throw earned by Chicago Fire. Slowly but surely progressing their way up the pitch, but still in danger territory in this defensive third of things. Sai heads it back on. Columbus will now have a throw on that far touchline. That's their bread and butter. They like to get teams pinned back defensively and try to force them into turnovers. Now a whistle as Rincon taken down, and this will be a free kick awarded. For Cassano. Cassano tripped up, and that will be a foul against Columbus. Konix, the goal scorer, gets play back underway. Wide looking for Holyout, but not on the same page as Holyout. This portion of the match is brought to you by Wintrust. Nicholas Strednak will hold up this throw in and have a word with Cole Roca. That will trickle out of play. Reynolds set to toss it in for Chicago. Osorio works it ahead at Shukaluk. Passing has not been super crisp early on for Chicago Fire, despite the lead, completing just 69% of their passes in these first 20 minutes. Dangerous pass back along that back by Columbus Crew. And no choice but the emergency clearance out of play. Palacios, the off-season acquisition, stepping up there and taking the pressure off for a moment. It is Reynolds with another throw for Chicago. These last few minutes have been dominated by Chicago Fire throw-ins. After that goal, somewhat of a disjointed restart here for both teams. Cone knifing his way through and out of traffic. Now guided back to Lopkis. Elliott can't run that down before it sails out, and it will be a quick throw in for Chicago. Now there is a whistle from Strednak, who will motion for a stoppage. Crew 2 will take back possession. Federico Higuain called this match an important game for Columbus Crew 2. Now trying to find their way back in from an early deficit. Elliott, it's touched inside. Randazzo squares. Falling through the outside. A good build-up here for Columbus Crew 2. They early on have been able to utilize those pockets on the wide space, create these passing triangles, and find overloads on the Chicago Fire defense. Still though, just one shot to show for it. None have gone on target. All season long for this Columbus Crew 2 team, despite the results that have or have not come for Columbus, Federico Higuain has kept a very positive outlook on the season. He knows that this team has the ability to turn the corner and start piecing results together. Coming into this match, he said, just based on the work rate of this young team, we don't deserve to be in the position that we are in right now. Things just haven't fallen our way. As Gasper taken down, and that will be a whistle. Cleared forward, headed down by Shukaluk. Sai able to fight off a challenge, advantage played. Back on this right-hand side. Now Sai will get it back. Looking for the give and go back to Ibra Sai. Well defended again by Chicago Fire, and there's that defensive organization on display. As this hoofed forward and steered back to Lopkis. Lopkis, the 19-year-old out of Belarus. He's been a productive player in net for this Columbus Crew 2 side since joining them in 2022. Called up to that Columbus Crew first team 5 times in his career. As Sai now lifts this ahead. Long ball running in behind. It's Ortiz. Ortiz gives it up. Alloway with it. Now back ahead. Rincon tries to cross it in. It's headed out by Chicago. And in what has become a theme in this first half, another corner won by Columbus, up to 6. Just one set-piece goal this season for Columbus Crew 2. It came on a free kick against New England Revolution earlier this season in that 2-2 draw. Rincon curls it in, headed away. Roca with it, trying to cut to his right. Now pinballing around, worked up ahead. Here's Cassano. Again, fantastic defensive recovery from Columbus Crew 2 there. It is steered out for a corner, but their ability to get those numbers back very quickly in those transitional moments has at times stymied this Chicago Fire 2 offense. However, Chicago have capitalized on their previous corner in this first half. Cassano calling the shots on this set piece. They scored on their first corner earlier. Cassano, out-swinging ball, headed toward goal by Konix. Wanted a second first half goal. Instead, sends that over the bar. That ball looked like it was hooking in and then hooked back out. Konix found himself in a good spot. Just couldn't put it on target to truly test Stanislav Lapkus. Columbus Crew 2 still looking for their first shot on target as we close in on the half-hour mark played. A whistle sounds from Nicholas Strednak, and that will be a free kick quickly taken by Columbus. A big focus these last few weeks for Higuain and the Crew 2 coaching staff is finding ways to be more clinical when getting inside that good scoring area. Earlier this year against Crown Legacy, 34 touches inside, 15 shots in the box, but just one goal. As now on it again is Columbus, cutting to the byline, centering, cleared out by Konix. 7th corner won by Columbus. A good effort by Anu Giamfi, fighting off that challenge from Gasper and carrying on. When you have a sputtering offense, one way to get it going, stack up set piece opportunities, and Columbus doing that in that first half. 7 corners so far. Now we have a whistle from Strednak again. There is a Columbus player down just on the edge of that 6-yard box. Palacios who went down. Now Palacios pleading his case. Very spirited conversation taking place between Nicholas Strednak and that crowd of players. There it is on the left side of your screen again. It was Gasper going at it with the aforementioned Malcolm Palacios. Meanwhile, it's headed out again by Chicago Fire 2. Another corner conceded. This time the Illinois native Colm Roca will go over to that far corner. Columbus still looking for its first shot on target. Roca curls it in. And an early whistle from Strednak washes out the opportunity for Columbus. Some more issues with the distribution from the back of the buildup for Patrick Lose and Chicago Fire 2. That cleared out. And a quick throw-in taken by Columbus Crew 2. Trailing in this contest thanks to the set-piece goal from Diego Konix. Elliott taken down on the aerial duel. That time, it's a foul whistled for against Chase Gasper. And Columbus Crew 2 will have a set piece. Most of their set pieces today, as it's quickly restarted by Crew 2, have been off those corners, but 3 free kicks in this attacking half of things. Still just 1 shot to show for it. While Chicago Fire 2 have been very well organized defensively. You see the fluidity of the team in red right now, how they're moving to the ball when Columbus has it. Yes, they have been organized defensively, but this first half has been marked by a lack of execution from Columbus Crew 2 on their opportunities, something that has been a theme all year that Federico Higuain has talked about. The goal has been to impose themselves more, and they have done that as there is a whistle to stop play. They have imposed themselves on this first half. They have the significant advantage in possession as well. 60-40 right now. They're back on it. Counter-attacking is Columbus. Adu Jamfi at the byline, cuts it inside, deflected out of play. Adu Jamfi has made some good runs on this right-hand side of things, finding plenty of space in behind. Fire 2 with the lead. As Los looking to clear it out from the back, and it will be a throw in. Although that did not go out. The distributions have not been as crisp as Mike Matkovich and company would like to see from their starting goalkeeper. It has resulted in Chicago Fire 2 being pressed significantly right now by Columbus Crew 2. Laid back off to Los, emergency clearance away. Chicago Fire, despite the lead, they themselves have only had one shot on target, 3 total shots. A credit goes to the Columbus Crew 2 press. They have been suffocating Chicago in their own defensive third. Majority of this contest, save for the long ball that flipped the field back in those opening 15 minutes that Chicago ultimately scored off the ensuing corner. Turned up ahead, looking for Hollywood. Great hold-up play from Hollywood. Numbers here for Chicago. Rolled in, it's Shook-a-look! Missing, but it was deflected on its way. A corner one. Just a fantastic build-up for Chicago Fire. First, the hold-up from Hollywood. A great ball rolled through, finding Shook-a-look. Lopkis able to come out and just get a piece of it. This will be the 3rd corner of the day for Chicago Fire 2. Already 1 corner goal for this afternoon. Cassano stands this up, back post, headed away. Second ball served in, but overhit by Reynolds, and it's out for a goal clearance. This portion of the match is brought to you by Hyundai. Troubles at the back here for Columbus Crew 2. I'm going to break down that high press from Chicago. They have been choosy in their moments when being ultra aggressive. Has not been a consistent theme in this first half for Chicago, but that time dialing it up there, very nearly winning it back. Here is Columbus though. Whipped back ahead. Too much weight behind that pass from Roca. And it's out for a Patrick Lowe's goal kick. Mike Matkovich, Chicago Fire 2 head coach, very much so was looking forward to this contest. Called Columbus Crew 2 a gold standard club of MLS NEXT Pro, but he also said that if you watch the way they play, they are so stylistically similar to Columbus Crew, the first team, and Wilfred Nancy. There is a foul given and a free kick earned by Chicago. Rincon was very displeased with the whistle. He and Nicholas Strednak continuing to go back and forth. There's Cassano, sandwiched in between two defenders. That'll be another free kick, almost in a similar area. Quickly taken, Gasper rolls it up this near touchline. Laid back off to Gasper, who turns it over. Racing in behind, it's Columbus Crew 2 and Ortiz. Back out wide, Adu Jamfi. Adu Jamfi cuts back to his right. Here's Elliott. Lifts this in, centered, deflecting around, trickling wide of goal. Great inside-outside work. First, Adu Jamfi trying to turn away from pressure. And this, a heads-up cross in. Racing ahead was Alloway to put it on in front of goal. And Adu Jamfi just not in a position to tap that home. Was a step too slow to get to it. The actions have been there in this first half for Columbus, as we have another whistle. Nicholas Strednak, a no-nonsense official this afternoon. Sometimes you'll see teams and officials just allow the teams to take the free kick very quickly. Doesn't necessarily have to be right at the exact same spot of the foul, but not so with our center referee this afternoon. He is calling this one by the book and calling it very tight, something these teams will have to adapt to in the second half. Rolled back into the possession of Lapkus, who will pluck it off the turf. Ibrasai gives it up. Columbus up to 2 shots, but none have found their way on target still as we come up into the final 5-ish minutes of this first half, plus added time. Crew 2 will have a throw in. Despite the lack of shots generated, Columbus Crew 2, the actions, they have been there. We saw on one of the more recent build-ups, progressing nicely down the pitch, using combination passing. Some of those crosses to pull defenders out of positions for Chicago, as that's out for a throw in. But it's the finishing touch that they've lacked, not just today, but all season long. It has not been there this afternoon. Part of that idea that Higuain had emphasized to his team, the idea of not just being more clinical, but imposing yourself and taking advantage of the opportunities given to you. Adu Jamfi back with it now. His cross sailing toward that back post. No one on the receiving end. It falls through the other side for a Chicago throw-in. More whistles from Nicholas Strednak. Now a yellow card will come out of the pocket. Shown to Ibrasai, and it's Sai's second yellow of the day. Ibrasai has been sent off.
Has been issued to Columbus Crew 2 number 33, Ibrasai.
Columbus pleading their case. Ibrasai had picked up an early yellow in this first half after clearing the ball out before a Chicago Fire free kick. And now Sai, after a foul, showed a second yellow This completely turning the match on its head. Keep an eye on the center of your screen here. Sai locked in that battle. There was Trip Fleming who was taken down. Strudnak immediately motioning him over. And the second yellow coming out of the pocket. And now Federico Higuain has been sent off as well. Higuain wanting an explanation from the fourth official. Ibra Sai making the long walk back through the tunnel. Late in this first half, things devolving into chaos for Columbus Crew 2. Josh Williams will take charge of Columbus Crew for the final 45 minutes and change, as Federico Higuain has been sent off, as has Ibrahim Asai. Columbus Crew 2 will play down a man for the duration of this contest. Already trailing by a goal, now making this comeback effort even more difficult. Reynolds with it now, just to catch you up on what happened these last few minutes. Ibrahim Asai was shown a second yellow in this first half, as Gasper will loop this one ahead to Shukaluk. Shukaluk lays it off. Cassano probing back to Shukaluk. Giving up out wide, Gasper. Edge of the area, it's Cassano. Fire 2 will recycle things. Now funneled back down this near channel, it's Cassano. Sidestepping a challenge. Now cutting inside, worked ahead. Shukaluk on it. Shukaluk cuts it back out wide. Here's Reynolds. Chicago Fire 2, up a man and up on the score sheet. Advantage doubled, 2-0. Justin Reynolds nets his second of the season, and this is just excellent patience and ball work from Chicago Fire 2. Worked inside, Shukaluk, the casual handoff from Hulyut, top of the 18, and Justin Reynolds fires it in. 2 first half goals from 2 different goal scorers.
The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 3 minutes added on to the first half.
3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. That despite the possession advantage for Columbus Crew 2 has been marked by execution in their chances for Chicago Fire 2, something their opponents just have not done this afternoon. A turnover forced in the midfield. Cassano short-lived possession for Chicago Fire as Quentin Elliott, the former Indiana Hoosier, leading the charge. Indiana Hoosiers having an important impact on MLS Next Pro this season. Sam Sarver, one of Quentin Elliott's former teammates with the Hoosiers, one of the top goal scorers in MLS Next Pro this season for North Texas SC, who have a big fixture coming up. Western Conference final rematch on Wednesday with St. Louis City 2, who will be without their head coach David Critchley who was recently promoted to the caretaker role with St. Louis City first team after the dismissal of Olaf Melberg. Now on it again is Chicago Fire 2. Telegraphed pass intercepted by Columbus. It's won back though by Reynolds. Hoofed away from danger by Columbus. The aforementioned David Critchley, the St. Louis City caretaker manager at the MLS level, winning his first game in charge over the weekend. Taking down San Jose Earthquakes. There's Holyout. Edge of the area, Osorio. Cross blocked out, it falls back to Reynolds. Gasper, now Cassano. Karam's all the way back to Trip Fleming, the former Wisconsin Badger. Now Holyout lays it off out wide. This is Reynolds again. Edge of the area, back to Holyout. Holyout on his right, parried away by Lopkis. Reynolds couldn't tightrope the touchline, and there's the whistle for halftime from Nicholas Stretnak. A chaotic first 45 minutes in the books, and Chicago Fire 2 have the lead heading into the break. Almost a 3-goal lead, if not for the heroics of Stanislav Lopkis at full stretch, pushing it aside. We head to the half. Chicago Fire 2 on top. Our score at the break, 2-0 Chicago Fire. We'll be right back with a full halftime show after our first break.
If I got it, then I bought it. Take a bite, 'cause I want it. And I know I got the taste for the cake. And I take what I make and I flaunt it, flaunt it. Got diamonds on my necklace. I live how I like. So looks is getting reckless. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe.
Action.
Back in Chicago, Illinois. First half highlights and a look at our upcoming schedule are later. But first, April Marie Aguilar headed to North Carolina to visit with U.S. Soccer Hall of Famer and North Carolina native son, Eddie Pope.
Thank you for joining me. I'm April Marie Aguilar here in High Point, North Carolina at the brand new state-of-the-art facility, the Go Forth Elite Performance Center with Carolina Core FC. And today I'll be speaking with a legend, Eddie Pope. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me. But I want to mention, with the club in its second season, how do you continue to push the envelope in order to achieve the desired result?
It's just working every day, working hard every day, making sure the players are working hard every day. Trying to make sure that we look a little bit before, a little bit beyond, the next day and the next day, try to have a little bit of a vision, setting goals that are out in front of us, trying to achieve those goals, making sure the players are achieving those goals, as well as the coaching staff.
And how does the mind of a former U.S. soccer legend translate to that of CSO?
I think just for the most part, just trying to make things better than I had them. So I'm thinking about all the little bit of pitfalls that I may have gone through, whether that's on the field or off the field, trying to make things easier for players, try to give players advice on the field. So sometimes it is putting on the cleats and going out and trying to disseminate the information that I had as a player and moving that on to them. So I mean, those are some of the major ways. And then obviously trying to perform at the best of my ability as a CSO, as sometimes a coach, but then making sure that they have something like this, a training facility where they can apply their trade.
So I'm told you're the first to arrive and the last to leave. How does that level of commitment contribute to the success of the organization?
Yeah, I think just making sure that I'm setting an example for our coaching staff and our players. Sometimes the players leave after me, sometimes they're here before me, same thing with the coaching staff. But I think that something like that can be contagious. I think it's important, especially when a club like this is in the second year. We're just getting started. So we need to make sure that at a minimum, we're working as hard as we possibly can.
And I just recently visited the National Soccer Hall of Fame, where you've been inducted. Despite that, you seem like a very, very humble individual. So how does somebody at your level stay so grounded?
For me, I think it's the game humbles you at all times. So the second that a player or anyone becomes a little bit haughty, the game will humble you. On the field sometimes, off the field sometimes, as a CSO, as a coach, where you might lose a game that you should have won. Soccer has a strange way of doing that for everyone.
And earlier today, we had the opportunity to attend practice. I saw you taking some forwards aside and, giving them some pointers. How does somebody with your experience not only instill what you know, but at the same time inspire them throughout the process? Yeah,
I think players are interesting, right? Players, obviously I was a former player. One of the things that they do pay attention to is where you've played, what you've done. So I think, we've as a coaching staff and myself, we've checked that box. Our players are very attentive. They're like sponges. They like to listen. At the MLS NEXT Pro level especially, that is a developmental league. So players are trying to develop, and it's our job to make sure that we're helping them through that process. So I try to take some of my past experiences, some of the things that I've gone through, like I was working with a forward, so I'm trying to tell him, hey, here are the things that I don't like that forwards do as a defender, and making sure that he understands those and that those are just options for him to choose from. He's not a robot, but just trying to help him unlock other defenders. And so we try to pull guys aside at times and work with them.
So that's the knowledge that you teach out on the field. What is something that you're instilling in them outside the pitch?
I think so. For us, one of the things that we do have is a player development program where we will teach them how to handle their finances. We have them, our captains and a couple of other players, going through a leadership course through a company that works with the club. Sometimes we'll do some fun things like cooking courses because they're young.
Right.
Most of them are bachelors, so to help make sure they're eating properly when they have the opportunity to cook for themselves. So we try to do some fun things off the field as well. And then I just think tactically, a lot of them are super young. The game changes so quickly that we try to sit down with them and help them understand tactically, not only just the game in general, but especially what we're trying to do.
At this point in time in your career, what is something that you ultimately hope to be remembered for?
That's a good question. I think just someone who worked hard, someone who believed in U.S. soccer, American soccer, someone who's wanted to really help grow the game here. Especially now being in the position that I'm in and helping to develop youth players and push them onward to MLS and hopefully the national team and maybe even other national teams, moving them on to Europe as well, but especially growing the game here in the United States.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much.
Action.
attracted. I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. It's a jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
Welcome back. It's 2-0 at the half between Chicago Fire and Columbus Crew. We'll look ahead to the league's upcoming schedule in a moment. But first, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so Real Salt Lake star Diego Luna shared a bit of his journey this season and what he has implemented to stay mentally strong.
Come on, Diego. Have a good game tonight.
Throughout this year, my performance has not been where it's supposed to be. And I think a lot of that had to do with where my head was at and the things I was dealing with. I started with a therapist. That notebook just has everything we've been working on with my therapist. It has affirmations, breathing exercises, power poses, things to just think about to get your mind in the right place. From there, it's just been good. Like, I've just felt better. I've been able to just be myself, enjoy the game more, and I think that notebook is going to continue to help me. Of course, I have my affirmations here, and I just read them in order down through the whole page, and there's not really one that, you know, sticks out to you, but it's all just about getting your mind in the right place and realizing how blessed you are and that you're okay no matter what. I have what it takes to create the life I want. I am successful. I am talented. Money flows well in my life. I'm healthy and strong. I'm healing all areas of my life. Everything always works out for the best. Remember to stay positive. Today is a great day for success.
If I got it, then I bought it. Take a bite, cause I want it. And I know I got the taste for the cake. And I take what I make and I flaunt it, flaunt it. Got diamonds on my necklace. I live how I like. So looks is getting reckless. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe.
Action.
Back in Chicago, halftime rolls on inside SeatGeek Stadium. Chicago Fire up 2-0 at the break between Columbus Crew 2. Let's show you how we got to this juncture with our halftime highlights. Chicago Fire, despite not having the lion's share of the possession, early on were asking questions of the Crew back line. Able to generate a corner here. Second ball served to that back post, headed in by the captain, Diego Konix. That made it 1-0 Chicago Fire, an early start. And Fire, too, were not done asking questions. Konix comes right back down off another set piece, heads that one over the bar. A brilliant build-up here from Mike Matkovich's team, rolled in behind. Jason Shukaluk will want that one back, but that ultimately was deflected out for a corner. They did not score on the ensuing corner. For Columbus Crew, too, they've had most of the possession in this half. The actions have been good, but the finishes just have not been there. Then Chicago Fire, late in the first half, comes right back down, cycling it around. It falls over to Justin Reynolds, who deposits it in. That made it 2-0 Chicago Fire 2, and that is where we stand through 45 minutes of play. A look at our halftime stats tells just about the full story. Chicago, while they have not had the ball for majority of the first half, they've made the most of their possession. And any coach will tell you it's not about having possession, it's about being purposeful in it. 4 shots on target, half of which have found their way past Stanislav Lapkus, who made an incredible save at the end of the first half to keep it 2-0 heading into the break. Columbus Crew 2 will play the duration of this second half down a man because of this. Ibra Sai, who was shown a yellow early on, whistled for a foul, continuing to have words with Nicholas Strednak. He had been warned earlier in the half by Strednak that he was being a little bit too chatty, and Strednak had seen enough, sending him off with the second yellow. Then after Ibra Sai had been sent off, Federico Higuain jawing with the 4th official over in the Columbus technical area. 4th official motions Strednak over. Strednak had seen enough. He sends Higuain off. So consecutive red cards for Columbus Crew 2. Their bench boss sent off, and their starting midfielder Ibra Sai sent off. So down to 10 men is Columbus Crew 2, as Josh Williams, assistant coach, will call the shots in this second 45 minutes for Columbus. Back inside SeatGeek Stadium, Chicago Fire up 2-0 over Columbus Crew 2. It's been all about offense for the home side here at SeatGeek Stadium. Along with our Season Pass team, Jake Griffith, glad to have you with us. Chicago making the most of their 47% possession in those opening 45 minutes. 7 total shots, 4 on target. Chicago will make one change at the halftime break as Peter Sudan will come on for the 9th time this season. Nicholas Strednak sounds the whistle. We're back underway for half number 2. 45 minutes in the books for the first teamer for Chicago Fire, Chase Gasper. Now progressing nicely is Holyout, flanked there by Shukaluk, who's in an offside position as the flag is up. As the first half carried on, Columbus Crew 2 conceded several promising buildups to Chicago Fire 2. Fire finding some gaps in what at the beginning of the first half was a well-organized Columbus Crew defense. Really stymied Chicago Fire in those first 15 to 20 minutes. Because of the expansive nature of the 3-5-2, or I should say the 5-3-2 for Columbus Crew, as this fired laterally across the 18. Now stepping in, it's Elliott, skipping past. It's out for a corner. A good burst of life out of the halftime break for Columbus Crew 2. Right back to their corner-winning ways, the 9th of the day. Roca will set this up from the near flag. And now some pushing and shoving inside that 18 as Nicholas Strednak has seen enough of that. Roca sails this, back post, punched away by Los. The rebound falling through. Now Cassano on it, trying to break Chicago out. nudged out across that far touchline, and Reynolds and Chicago Fire will have a throw in. Switching pass out wide. Just skips right past Peter Sudan. Chicago sending numbers forward defensively. They were very choosy in that first half on when to counter press and when to get back and hold their shape defensively. Now here's Columbus, whipped out wide. Plenty of space for Prestis. Owen Prestis looking for the angle to cross. Centers cleared away. No foul given. One back by Palacios. Prestis on the near touchline. Columbus, despite the 2-0 deficit, resuming their ways we saw in the first half of holding on to possession. Now lifted in, Randazzo centers, headed wide. Owen Prestis alone on the doorstep. This is a beautiful cross right onto the head of Owen Prestis. That's a miss that will haunt him for the rest of the day. Have to score in those situations if you're Columbus Crew too. Now whipped up ahead, Shukaluk racing forward with it, but Shukaluk caught in an offside position. Columbus Crew, bit of a tactical change as this game is carried on into this second half to prevent some of those runs in behind that Chicago was able to execute because of the expansive nature of the formation. Those three that are holding back, playing a bit of a higher line, and it's forcing players like a Shukaluk to be very aware of that high line. Twice now, Shukaluk has gotten caught in behind it offside. Rolled ahead, here's Chicago. Reynolds has one today. Reynolds on his right. Reynolds looking for the cross. Fumbling through the 18. Columbus will settle on it. Hollywood commits the foul, and that will wash out the opportunity for Chicago Fire 2. Defender goes to ground. Strong challenge applied by Casano, and it's a free kick earned by Columbus. With this man advantage, Chicago Fire a little more content to send numbers forward in this aggressive profile at the start of this second half. However, that is leaving some space in the midfield for Columbus to get out in these transitional moments. Those transitional moments, an area that Columbus, they love to be on. This helped along. Maroka guides it back out wide, and it's cleared away by Justin Reynolds, out for a throw. There you see why Columbus dangerous at times this year in the transition game. If not for a last-minute header away by Justin Reynolds, Columbus could have been in a good scoring opportunity. Long throw into the 18. That's headed out. It will be a Patrick Lowe goal kick. Pressure applied along the back by Columbus. Chicago calm under that pressure. And now here comes Fire 2. Osorio moving ahead. Racing in to clear it away, Quentin Elliott, and it's out for a corner. Osorio leaving that pass just a touch light on the give out wide, looking for Cassano. If that pass is on the money, the way Claudio Cassano can set the table, 20 chances created, have to imagine that would have put Chicago in another goal-scoring opportunity. Here they are, though, on their fourth corner. Cassano drives it in. Nagel cycles it back over to Cassano. Cassano cutting to his left, sailing it in, just past the outstretched boot of Shukaluk. Claudio Cassano, his head coach Mike Matkovich, lauding his performance this season earlier this week. He said he's a guy that has a long pro career ahead of him. You don't typically see many players of his caliber at this level. Osorio rolls it back ahead, tucked inside. 3-0 Chicago. Trip Fleming, his second of the season, adding insult to injury. All Chicago Fire on this Sunday afternoon. It all starts from the counter press for Chicago, which has been an emphasis to start this second half, throwing more bodies forward. Columbus pleading for the offside flag. It won't come up, and Trip Fleming tucking it away on Stanislav Lapkus.
Chicago Fire 2 goals scored by number 48, Trip Fleming.
For Trip Fleming, second goal of the season, that matches his single season career best for goals scored. Had 4 goal contributions back in that 2023 season. Did not play for Chicago Fire 2 a season ago, opted to go back to Wisconsin. Columbus right now just overwhelming, rather Chicago overwhelming Columbus as Cassano tried to turn on the ball, coughed it up. Now rolled all the way ahead. Prestis. Still Prestis. Trying to cut to his right. Prestis leaves it off. Telegraph pass. And Nagel steps in for the interception. Here's Cassano looking to roll Shukaluk through. He's in. What a save by Lapkus. On the doorstep, Shukaluk breathing down his neck, and a kick save for the 19-year-old. Hasn't made many stops today, that just his second. But the saves he's made, the one at the end of the first half, and now that one early in the second, have been nothing short of impressive. Cassano will have Chicago Fire's 5th corner of the day. Cassano, in swinging ball, bouncing around, a flubbed clearance. Nagel has a go from distance. Takes a deflection on its way out, and it's another corner one. Smart by John Diouf to just lay off on that, knowing it had taken a deflection out. First half dominated by Columbus Crew corners with 8 of them. Now Chicago up to 6 as Cassano plays the short option. Here's Reynolds, serves it into a crowd, pinballing around, fired over the bar and out. Chicago creating a lot of traffic in front of Stanislav Lapkus. Columbus able to come away from that set piece unscathed. Crew 2 are really trying to invite pressure in now that Chicago has become insistent on utilizing this high pressure time and again in this second half. Sometimes teams can invite pressure in, hold on to it as long as possible, and then pick their spot going forward with a long pass over the top. But Columbus have not had those passing options over the top today. A credit to the defensive organization of Chicago Fire. Lobbed ahead by Columbus. Konix will steer that away. And Trip Fleming, who just recently scored in the second half, takes over possession for Chicago. Lifted out wide. Sudan will pull that ball down. Here's Peter Sudan. Cuts to his left. Sudan lifts it in, crashing toward goal. Just missing. A superb layoff by Cassano across the face of goal. Again on the doorstep was Trip Fleming. Had his mind on a second. Ball just bouncing over the outstretched right foot at the last moment. This portion of the match is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Columbus will make a change as Juan Granda will come on. Third appearance of the season for the 18-year-old from Illinois. We've played an hour in this contest. 2 first-half goals broke the game open for Chicago. They've tacked on a third in this second half. As Columbus playing down a man thanks to the first half. Second yellow and subsequent red card issued to Ibra Sai. Playing down a man, especially when you're in a multi-goal deficit, obviously dashes the chances, but Columbus had a burst of life coming out of the halftime dressing room. Put some early pressure on the Chicago Fire back line, able to earn a corner as a result, generate another shot on target. Rather, another shot overall, as Hull-Ute will sidestep a challenge. But that burst of energy short-lived. Since then, Chicago Fire have seized back control of the match. They've done it with crisp passing, defensive organization, and finding gaps in this expansive 5-3-2 of Columbus Crew 2. Rolled up ahead, Osorio. Hull-Ute tries to give it up. Fleming couldn't hold on to it, and Columbus will take over possession. Dazzo almost couldn't corral that ball in. It's guided out by Casano, and it's a throw for Columbus Crew 2. Columbus do have the benefit following this match of heading back home to historic Crew Stadium for 4 consecutive fixtures. NYC FC 2, Philadelphia Union 2, Carolina Core. Well, they have the benefit of being home for those fixtures. You hear the team names rattled off there: NYC FC, Philadelphia Union, those 2 of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. The task continues to get tougher as we close in on that midway mark of the MLS Next Pro campaign. Everyone looking up at Chattanooga FC in the Eastern Conference table as we have a whistle from Nicholas Strednak. Red Bull New York, however, closing in just 3 points off the lead of Chattanooga FC in that Eastern Conference table. Now another whistle and some words exchanged between Trip Fleming and Juan Granda, who had crashed into Trip Fleming. Some good leadership shown there by John Diouf, immediately running over and pulling Trip Fleming out of that confrontation. Rolled up ahead, here's Shukaluk again. Keeper comes off his line. Shukaluk lays it off. Osorio sidesteps, cleared off the line. Nico Rincon getting on his horse and getting back to deflect that away from goal. Chicago will make 2 changes at the next available opportunity. There's Sudan. Couldn't break past that last defender, now rolled all the way ahead. Racing forward, it's Alloway. Doesn't have the numbers. Collapsing in on him and winning it back is Chicago. With that aforementioned Eastern Conference table in mind, it is a log jam through that middle portion of it. Just 5 points separating the 12th and 11th place teams from 4th place New England Revolution 2. Chicago Fire 2 being one of those 2 mentioned in that 11th and 12th place. Fire currently occupying the 11th spot in the Eastern Conference table. A win, should this result hold, for Chicago Fire would take them from 11th all the way up to alone in 6th position in the Eastern Conference. That just about sums up the way the East has been played in this first half of the season, setting up for what will be an exciting back half. There's a Columbus Crew player down, slow to get to his feet. It's Christian Ortiz, the offseason acquisition on a loan from Tampa Bay Rowdies of the USL Championship. He is back to his feet. He will walk off under his own power. Meanwhile, his Columbus Crew 2 side looking set to make 3 changes. Chicago Fire will bring in 2 new faces in this second half. Juan Miguel Calle and Dean Bolts will trot on.
Two substitutions for Chicago Fire 2. Entering the match number 28.
Alex Gimple will come on, the Crew Academy man. 16 years old is Gimple. As Brent Adu-Jamfi's day is done. Shalom Adia will make an appearance. The Ohio native signed to Vermont collegiately.
Two substitutions for Columbus Crew 2. Entering the match number 66, Alex Gimple. Leaving the match number 42, Brent Adu-Jamfi. Also entering the match number 61, Shalom Aja. Leaving the match number 47.
Back underway, off the changes, worked up ahead. Here's Shukaluk, has a go, pushed away. Another save for Lapkus. Shukaluk has had so many looks at goal in this second half. 3 second-half shots for the former Akron Zip. A save from Lapkus conceding the corner. Casano swings this in, headed in! Chicago continues to pour it on. It's John Diouf, the header goal, 4-0 Fire. Chicago had been stacking set pieces up in this second half, running their total up to 7 on the day. It's their second corner goal of the season. John Diouf with his second goal of 2025.
Chicago Fire 2 goals scored by number 41, Jean-Alpha Diouf.
Chicago Fire wanting more off the restart. This worked over to Bolts. Bolts cross blocked away by Palacios, and it's out for another corner. 6 second-half corners now for Chicago Fire 2, who have really put the clamps on Columbus in this second 45 minutes. Casano sails it back post again, headed away. Chicago Fire able to weather a storm in the opening 15 minutes of this match from Columbus. Large spells of possession, some good looks at goal, good build-ups, albeit no shots to show for it. But since those opening 15 minutes, Chicago Fire have been able to find holes in this Columbus Crew defense and time and again get in good scoring areas. 8 shots on target today, and here they are again. Hull-Ute lays it off to Shukaluk! The breakthrough finally for Jason Shukaluk on his 4th shot of the second half. 5-0 Chicago. You knew that Jason Shukaluk, if he kept going back to the well, eventually would find a goal, rifling it in. His 3rd of 2025.
Chicago Fire 2 goals scored by
Goals mere minutes apart for Chicago Fire. An offensive explosion on this first Sunday in June. Columbus, a counter-attacking opportunity now. No options ahead for Granda. Left off for Prestis. 2 first-half goals for Chicago. Now 3 second-half goals. Worked out wide by Lopkis. Closed off on that outside by Justin Reynolds. As Quentin Elliott takes Reynolds down, and it's a foul against Columbus Crew 2. In this match, but really all season long, Columbus just has not been able to use verticality, that direct style of play, to their advantage. 28th in MLS Next Pro this season in accurate long balls completed per 90 minutes. They have tried their hand so many times to go over the top and break these well-held Chicago Fire lines, and time and again have not been able to do that. But here is Columbus on the move. Rolled up ahead. Alloway, he'll give it up. Can't connect enough passes there, and it's turned over. Change of possession will occur via the throw-in, and that about sums the day up for Columbus Crew 2. Not making the most of their opportunities when they have them. Some careless giveaways in the midfield. Speaking of the midfield, progressing nicely through it is Chicago. Bolts, it's touched toward goal, but stopped by Lopkis. Lifted up ahead. Diouf will head that away from danger. And Sudan will lay it back off. Worked out wide by Chicago. Here is Peter Sudan. Still with it, tries to peel it back, and it's a whistle. Columbus will make a pair of changes.
2 substitutions for Columbus Crew 2. Entering the match, number 64.
Artem Grindblad, Cooper Flannery. They both will trot on. Flannery, the Columbus Crew Academy man. Grindblad, an Academy player in his own right as well. Getting fresh faces on the pitch. Grindblad making his 3rd appearance of the season. For Columbus, it's the most goals conceded in a match this season, the 5 allowed against Chicago Fire. Have to go all the way back past last year to find the last time Columbus gave up this many goals in a match. Conceded 6 in July of 2023 against Philadelphia Union at home at historic Crew Stadium. That's the most allowed in a single match in Columbus Crew 2 club history. It's the first time since August of 2023 that they've conceded 5 in a single match. It has been an afternoon to forget for Columbus Crew 2. player went down, tracked down by Adia. Now Osorio goes down. Rather, that's Justin Reynolds, who is slow to pick himself up off the grass here at SeatGeek Stadium.
Substitution for Chicago Fire 2.
Chicago Fire will make another change of their own. Inji Kanyanye will come on, a acquisition earlier this season, the former Dayton Flyer. Kanyanye, a 2025 MLS Super Draft pick, but signing his MLS Next Pro deal with the Chicago Fire 2 side midway through this season. Swung out wide by Juan Miguel Calle. Kanyane able to pull it down. Now funneled back forward to Shukaluk, one of 5 different goal scorers this afternoon. Bolts will give it up. Left it back ahead, looking for Cassano. Glancing header on from Bolts. This portion of the match is brought to you by Buick GMC. Even down a man, you can see just how wide Columbus Crew tries to get things when on the attack. When it's all firing on all cylinders, that can be productive for a team because it pulls those defenders out of place and does not allow a team to maintain that rigid shape defensively. But if you're not careful with it, you leave too many gaps, and 1 or 2 turnovers in the midfield, the opposition immediately at your back line. That is what's happened time and again, especially in this second half today for Chicago Fire 2. The catalyst behind their 3-goal second half. They had utilized the high press at times in that first half, that aggressive mentality. But in the second half, knowing Columbus was down a player, they really dialed it up to a new level. This lifted over the top. In is Columbus. Elliott, cross blocked. Second cross, back in, fiddled toward goal, and stopped by Patrick Lose. Owen Prestis slow to get back to his feet. That tumbled out of play. Space to move here for Sudan. He'll double back and connect with Juan Miguel Calle. Flicked out. Chicago will have a throw in. Fire 2 with an upcoming meeting with New England Revolution 2 on the 8th of this month. New England coming off a win this week in dramatic fashion against NYCFC 2. A late winner in his season debut from Malcolm Fry. Here is Chicago again, and Kanyane. Work back ahead, Cassano turns, fires, it's blocked. Now trying to break out, give Columbus some semblance of attacking presence, but unable to was Cooper Flannery. last 60 minutes of this game. Anytime Columbus has started to move forward with some bit of fluidity, the defensive recoveries have been there by Chicago. Now turning this upfield, a long ball ahead to Bolts. Bolts cross, deflected, it falls back to him, and now there's a whistle. Right there on the right side of your screen, Bolts had been going at it with Palacios, who was the worst for wear off that tackle. One more change made by Chicago Fire as Joyner Montiel will make his 6th appearance of 2025. Jason Shukaluk's day is done. We highlighted him in our broadcast open, said that he would have to be an offensive contributor today with the absence of Dylan Borso, and Shukaluk has done that, generating 5 shots, scoring 1 goal. Kaye trying to carry it upfield. He's taken down, and that will be a foul given against Columbus Crew. Crew 2 have wanted to be aggressive today. It was a key theme for Federico Higuain coming into this match. Starting off on the front foot in terms of an aggressive mentality, but at times they've been a bit too aggressive, like that tackle right there. Nico Rincon shown yellow. Rather, Juan Granda shown yellow. Right in the center of your screen, just diving in from behind. That represents the 15th foul called against Columbus. And yet another player going into the book for Columbus Crew 2. Free kick gets played back going, struck from distance, and Lopkis is there. Countering now is Chicago. Looking for Bolts forward, intercepted by Randazzo. Trying to give and go back forward. Once again, coated well defensively by Chicago. Playing into what was said minutes ago about how Chicago, when Columbus has progressed forward, looking in toward that final third. The defensive shape, the defensive cohesion has been there almost all afternoon long, specifically in these last 60 minutes, and that has keyed Chicago in this 5-0 rout. Now laid off, Kanyane cuts it central, cleared away. Now hit off the volley and fired wide by Trip Fleming. This portion of the match is brought to you by Allstate. Malcolm Palacios will stay down after the stoppage. Slow to get back to his feet. He'll help back up to his feet by a teammate trying to walk off a little bit of a knock suffered on that left leg. You can see him on the right side of your screen, a little gingerly galloping over to the side. But play will continue, and now there's a whistle for a foul against Chicago. The Chicago Fire 2 side, so many expectations coming into this season. Bit of a new look for the organization all across the board. It's worked on to Montiel, who just flat out overruns the ball. New first team head coach and Greg Berhalter coming in the offseason, the former United States men's national team manager, as knifing through defenders there was Prestis, able to win a free kick. Mike Matkovich also in his first season at the helm of Chicago Fire too. He said this week that synergy has been the big word around this Chicago Fire 2 organization. Said Greg Berhalter came over, put a plan in place, top to bottom emphasis on development. And Matkovich said it's really just been a breath of fresh air in this organization to know that everyone on the same page. They love working together. They're having so much fun right now across all levels. Mike Matkovich in his 10th season with this Chicago organization across a multitude of levels. Was a first-team assistant from 2009 to 2013. The former, now defunct Chicago Fire reserve team. He was their head coach from 01 to 03. Now, once again, coaching the Fire second team, who are facing a set piece from Owen Prestis and Columbus. Prestis, the offering, pushed aside. What a save by Los. Served back in the thick of it and thumped clear. Now helped back along, back down the pitch to Prestis. Prestis cutting in. Prestis squares this. Knocked out of play. It's a corner one for Columbus. This a well-struck ball off the free kick. Canceled out by Patrick Los. One of the best shot stoppers in MLS Next Pro last season, 8th in the league in saves. Already up to 30 now this year. Pressure still on. Crew 2 with their 10th corner of the day. In swinging ball, punched away by Los. Elliott hacking away at it, works its way back inside. Diouf the header away. Now Granda from distance, stopped again by Los. The whistle for full-time sounds, not before dramatic final moments from Columbus. Juan Granda trying his hand from distance just at the death. Not to be had thanks to the efforts of Patrick Los, who keeps a clean sheet in a massive victory for Chicago Fire 2. An impressive offensive outing for Chicago Fire 2. And Jason Shukaluk, a goal, 2 assists, 5 total shots today for Shukaluk. Bearing the brunt of the offensive weight with Dylan Borso out of the lineup, setting the table for a rout of Columbus Crew 2. He is your man of the match and a 3-goal contribution performance. Chicago Fire 2 scoring goals for fun on the first Sunday in June. Our final score, 5-0 Chicago Fire over Columbus Crew 2. For our entire Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Jake Griffith. Don't forget you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Good afternoon from Chicago, Illinois.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.